This is Town Square Sunday on demand. And now, 1420 WBSM's Jim Phillips.
I love this next story. Is there anything better than Portuguese sweetbread? But which local bakery makes the best sweetbread? That's what organizers at Viva Fall River and New Bedford Food Tours are attempting to find out. They have created the South Coast Snackdown to determine which Fall River or New Bedford bakery makes the best tasting sweetbread. Now, I have my favorite. I voted, and I bet you do too. So Patti Rego, Fall River's #1 cheerleader, and who's also the head of Viva Fall River. She's here with us today by phone to discuss the contest. Good morning, Patti.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Patti, how does this contest come about? Talk to us about that.
Sure. So last year, if you recall, perhaps, Viva and New Bedford Food Tours did something similar, but the competition was for bakeries and their pastéis de nata, so the Portuguese custard pastries. And that was such a fun thing that we knew people loved that pastry, but people really got into the competition, and we had a bingo card. And really the best part about it was people saying that they went to different bakeries than they ordinarily would go to. And they traveled for this, this really fun celebration of the rich culture, not only the Portuguese culture, but the culinary culture of the South Coast. So it was such a success. We said, what can we do again? And we did a little poll online, New Bedford Food Tours did, and overwhelmingly people, voted for sweetbread. So we do what the people want, Jim.
Okay, so you've got this competition going on about sweetbread. Now, give us the rules and tell us where people that are listening, how can they get involved?
Of course. So the best part about this is that there really is only one rule, and that's to go to as many bakeries as you can that are on the list and eat sweetbread. So it's a very, it's not a very difficult contest for sure. And then of course, we would love everybody to go to all of them, but we understand that, of course, you have a favorite. So if you go to NB, as in New Bedford, nbfoodtours.com/snackdown, you can not only see the list and an interactive map, you can vote. And we allow people to vote once a day. So if you're really passionate about it, you can go ahead and vote once a day or whatnot. And so, yeah, that's really the sum total of it. And then when all is said and done, we're going to do some kind of a fun announcement, maybe make another trophy like we did last year. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. So it's not too complicated. Again, New Bedford Food Tours, nbfoodtours.com/ what is it?
Snackdown.
Oh, yes. Of course. How could I forget?
A lot of people, sorry?
nbfoodtours.com/snackdown.
Yes, I was just going to remark that a lot of people say smackdown, but that's not this kind of a competition. It's a snack down. This is friendly, and we want to keep it that way.
It's a friendly food fight, according to Red on New Bedford Food Tours website. But so what's the feedback you've gotten so far?
Well, I haven't been monitoring the votes. My colleague at the New Bedford Food Tours has been, but she said the response in the first 2 weeks was more than we had gotten for the whole contest last time. So that was really exciting. So we definitely have a lot of votes coming in. I believe the last time I asked, there were a couple front runners. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see in these last days of the contest who is going to, if we'll have somebody come from behind, or we'll definitely take a look at that, and we'll post about it on social media. Maybe see if we can get people's competitive spirits, in overdrive.
So people have till when to cast their votes. This started early February. What's the deadline?
So votes will close at 11:59 p.m. on the 29th, which is next Thursday, I believe.
So as of this airing of this program, we've got about 4 days left to vote.
Yes, that's a good, if you vote once a day, that is a good amount for some lucky bakery who has your favorite treat.
Okay. And when will the results of this friendly food fight be announced?
Well, I would like to say that, we're going to, the wonders of technology, it tabulates everything for you. So I'm going to say by the end of the first week of March, I'll work with my collaborators and we'll make sure that we don't want to leave people in suspense.
Okay, good. You're listening to Town Square Sunday. I'm Jim Phillips. My guest is Patti Rego, the executive director of Viva Fall River. We're talking about the South Coast Snackdown, which will determine which local bakery makes the best sweetbread. So how do you recruit the 22 or 23 bakeries that are involved in this competition? Was that hard?
Well, what we decided to do, we really just try to make this as easy as possible for businesses because, honestly, we understand running a small business is more than a full-time job. It's everything. So what we did was we called, everything starts with a Google search, right? Yes. So we wanted to make sure this was a South Coast competition. So I believe there are 14 cities and towns that are typically referred to as South Coast. So we wrote down all the bakeries, and there are an awful lot of them. We called each one, and the one requisite was that you had to make your own sweetbread. So it can't be a place that gets their sweetbread from another local bakery. You have to be the originator of the sweetbread. And then that's what we did. You were in at that point. So I guess they didn't really have a choice to be in, but everybody's been so welcoming, and they, it's just a big positive for everybody, for the consumers, for the bakeries. It's just a wonderful thing.
So when you have sweetbread, let's talk about that for a moment. What are you looking for? And don't say the egg.
I do love the egg. I'm not going to lie about that. I do. But I am always looking for the color. I like one that's, definitely got a nice golden brown. Sometimes they can be on the light side, and that's okay. But I do like mine to be a little brown. Not too fluffy, but it has to have that, little crust to it, that shine. And, I always eat mine, almost always eat mine toasted and with butter. So, it's important to me that it's fresh, of course, but I've been known to take a couple days old one and you put it in the toaster and it's as good as new. So that's what I love about sweetbread. It's just a versatile and quick and easy and delicious anytime snack, really. Not.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I think I pretty much agree with some of the things you said there. It is always pretty special to have sweetbread. And butter, you bet. Yes.
Yes.
So what the deadline for voting, you mentioned that, the last day of February, 11:59 p.m.
Yes.
February 29th. Again, give us the website again for where people can vote.
Oh, absolutely. It's NB, so Nancy and boy, nbfoodtours.com/snackdown.
And when you go to that site, you'll be able to see all the bakeries that are taking part in the competition. You can check the one you favor, and you can go back the next day and vote again for that same one, or maybe vote in terms of, you one in New Bedford. One in New Bedford, you vote the first day, and one in Fall River the next day if you travel around to get your sweetbread. But again,
you're right. Spread the love.
Yeah, and it's a terrific little idea, and one that's, I'm sure, it's got some people talking, and hopefully you can get a rush of votes here in the last few days. So,
yes, I just wanted to mention too. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it's not just Portuguese sweetbread that's in this competition. We, that's the overwhelming majority in Fall River, but we do have a Lebanese sweetbread entry. We have in New Bedford, Guatemalan sweetbread, Puerto Rican sweetbread, and we even have a gluten-free sweetbread in Fall River that I actually really enjoyed. So I have to say that's another reason why we do these competitions, is to show people that there are a lot of things that are different about our cultures, but food is a common denominator. It's a way that we can connect with each other, and we all have a sweet bread, or we have a grandmother or a Viva or a abuela who has a recipe, and it's something that we can connect on in a favorable way. And it's okay to have a little friendly competition, but this world is so divisive, and this is a nice thing to remind us that we're very much more alike than we are different.
Again, a friendly food fight. That's what this has been labeled. It is a South Coast Snackdown, a competition to determine which local bakery makes the best sweetbread. And again, you can vote nbfoodtours.com/snackdown. It'll take you to a page where all the bakeries are listed. You can vote right there. And we're all waiting till the 29th to see what happens at that point.
Yes.
Now, I know Viva Fall River is starting another project. As this one winds down, the Snackdown winds down. That's hard to say. A Latin American food tour is going to begin. Tell us about that. Is that going to be virtual?
Well, actually, it's a self-guided tour.
Okay.
We find that, we've done it before with meat pies, a self-guided meat pie tour, and we have also done an ice cream tour. And it's really just about, and so with the Latin American restaurants, it was more about, there are definitely new cultures popping up in Fall River, and although we're always going to be known for Portuguese food, Latin American culture is really adding some, pun intended, flavor to the cultural cuisine in the city. And there are so many different types. And I also selfishly wanted to learn more about the different countries and the similarities and the differences. And as somebody who doesn't speak another language, it was important to me that that we made it accessible. So we went over a lot of the dishes and we explained what they were to make people more comfortable. And so that they would want to go into these establishments, which it was just a remarkable process. We did a video series in Spanish with an English I thought was very important. So there's a lot of content online, and there's 20 different places. There are restaurants and markets, so bodegas.
Okay. What's the website address so people can check it out?
So if you just go to vivafallriver.com, and there's a banner on the page at the bottom of the page that you can click right through. Save everybody the trouble of having to do this slash and whatnot. But yeah, right on the homepage of vivafallriver.com, you can get to it, and it's a page that has a listing. It's got an interactive map. We like our maps. And then also those videos, you can watch them right there, or they're also available on YouTube. And they feature not only the food, but the owners, who are really remarkable people, and the things they do for the community, the way they've embraced their new community. It's really reminiscent of how a lot of Portuguese people felt when they first came to the country. And this is the new influx. And so this is how we fold them into our melting pot here. And I'm really proud of this. I hope people really enjoy it, and I hope that they try a lot of these restaurants.
Well, my thanks to Patti Rego of Viva Fall River for filling us in on not only the Latin American food tour, but also, of course, the South Coast Snackdown, the sweetbread competition. Patti, let us know who wins, and thanks for making some time for us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for Town Square Sunday. Thanks for listening. Thanks also to Mike Roberts and Tim Weisberg for their assistance in getting this program on the air and on our social media platforms. I'm Jim Phillips. Please join me next week for Town Square Sunday. Until then, have a great Sunday and a wonderful week ahead.